Hey, what's going on, everybody? David Palmer, the Leo King here. What's going on, everyone? Here at the Leo King Studios, 12th House Media Productions as well. It's my birthday, and the first thing I want to say about this is, first of all, the gratitude, of course, for everybody wishing me a happy birthday, and the text messages and the Facebooks and all that stuff. And I felt pretty guilty this year because I haven't really responded to everybody yet. And I don't know, usually when it comes to birthdays, everybody thinks it's like about the party or like the celebration or, all this kind of stuff. But like this year I kind of was in my own like weird space, I guess you could say. But I still don't want to take away from people, sending me good vibes. Although I will admit, like, I really was not in the best mood for my birthday today. And I've had a couple birthdays where I really wasn't in the best mood. You could, I guess, say, if, for the astrology people out there, like, sure, your solar return, which if you don't know what that is, it's just basically taking a snapshot of where everything's aligned from Earth's perspective at the exact moment that the sun reaches the exact position that it was when you were born. So you basically take a snapshot of the stars that second. A lot of people think their birthday is like on the days. Like some years my birthday's been on July 24th, July 22nd, depending on the astral, like the actual like calculation of where the sun was when you were born. So mine was on its normal day, but I think the hardest part about birthdays are, it's like we kind of expect to like celebrate them. And this year I did not want to celebrate my birthday at all, and I feel guilty because a lot of people wanted and gave me a lot of great, love and admiration and did a lot for me. And I feel like really bad because I kind of was like not into it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And maybe it really is a little bit of what's really going on with my own astrology. And I think when you have a birthday in between eclipses or right before an eclipse, it's definitely a massive year and a massive time in your life. And I feel, as I have been processing this birthday, that, it's been a little bit more about preparation for the transformation I'm going through in myself and the conscious changes I'm going through. I don't like to use the term like the hard spiritual work, but I've been really focused on that in myself, because I feel like, I don't know, I think what's coming and this eclipse that's coming this week and this Mercury retrograde and there's a lot going on in the universe. But I feel like, with so much going on, we always kind of use birthdays as an excuse to get out of life. And for some reason, for this year, there was no excuse I could give myself to kind of celebrate my birthday. And if you look at my past, don't get me wrong, I'm the type of guy who will throw a massive party for myself or go DJ a club and throw an event, and use my birthday as the example and get a bunch of people there and do a table and do the whole 9 yards. But like, this year, to me, it just kind of feels like kind of a deep, private, inner space. And so, when people ask me how I'm doing, I kind of didn't lie this year. I'm kind of like, I'm like holding on. I'm like, I don't want to say I'm hanging on by a thread, but, I'm going definitely through a lot of moods right now and adjustments and, changes. And it's funny because you think birthdays might save you the day or something. Like, no, like this birthday definitely didn't save the day of how I feel in my life right now and the things I'm going through. I'm blessed to have my relationships in my life, my family, my wife, my friends, my, I don't even like to say employees, but like the people that support me in every way, but a birthday somehow doesn't like kind of take away from the things that you're going through, and maybe that's just getting older, even though I know I'm not old yet. But, you know, I think it's a, you know, maybe, I don't know what's going on with life right now as far as the way the world works with celebrating things and stuff. There's some things to celebrate in life. Like sometimes I think celebrating, you know, other people's stuff sometimes more fun. Sometimes celebrating your own thing's fun too. I'm just in a place in my life where I really did not feel very charismatic about my birthday. I actually left my house this morning, probably made my wife nervous Nelly. I think I'm so nervous about this year for me, about not only, I mean, I'm an astrologer, so I'm going to talk about astrology, and if you're not into astrology, then, you know, you might think I'm a crazy motherfucker or a weird person, but I'm coming up into a shitstorm, you know what I mean? And I know that means it's going to be massive ascension and massive rise in my life, but man, it's like, I don't know, you know, I'm using this birthday as kind of a preparation for all that. And shit show really doesn't mean like my whole world's going to get torn apart, but, you know, it's still not simple when you're an astrologer and you see, oh, that's what's happening on your birthday. And it's not like the bombest energy in the world, you know, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how am I gonna get through this? Like, I had a lot of feelings this morning, like, am I even gonna make it through this year? Like, am I gonna make it through? But I think, you know, I think that's why it was hard to celebrate this year. You know, like, I'm authentic, so like when I do this work, right, for a living, whether you call it being an astrologer or, I like to look at it as just like a conscious sharer of just sharing my journey and sharing my view of the universe and how to navigate through it. And it's weird because on this day, usually this is a day that I cherish. I mean, I've had great birthdays. Like 4 years ago when Jupiter came into Leo was, you know, in July of 2014. And the Sun and Jupiter conjunct on my birthday, like pretty much. Like it was amazing. I thought it would be the best year of my life. And it was actually one of the most traumatic and hardest years of my whole life, actually, when that happened. Which was kind of weird because I came into the year like, this is going to be awesome. And then it kind of let me down. And then this year I've been in just kind of a space of, oh, you know, I look out at the astrology of my own birthday and in the world, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of a time where I don't even know if everybody's even into, you know, birthdays or caring about that stuff. Everybody's dealing with their own shit. Everybody's dealing with their own life. Everybody's dealing with their own stuff, you know? So, I really don't know where I'm going with this except that one, because a lot of people watch me for astrology or spirituality or whatever, I'm not saying that every birthday, you know, is gonna be the same, like, and I think that's true for everybody, but I think an expectation of how birthdays should go is one thing to drop, you know, like, this year I kind of came into my birthday like, I really don't need nothing, I don't need to do anything, I'm at work, I'm working, you know, I'm not out doing anything, I'm still at work, it's like, you know, it's my life. So that was good enough for me to wake up next to my wife, and she gave me a gift in bed, and I had a great dinner with my family this weekend that I hadn't seen in a while, and that's all I needed. But, you know, some years, man, it's gung-ho motherfucker all the way, you know? Like, I have totally been that guy, you know? But, like, there's a subtleness about this year, but I'll be very honest with you. I think, for me, I'm letting go of a lot of fear about this year, and even just a lot of fear about this week. Like, I'm just going to be upfront and honest with you all. Like, I have no idea what this eclipse is going to do. There's too much Uranus energy. There's too much Aquarian energy. It's just, too much confusion in the universe right now for everybody in their lives. So for me, you know, that kind of makes me nervous because, you know, I'll be honest, like, I'm like most human beings, I'm a control freak. Like, I like to know what the hell's going down. That's probably why I'm an astrologer, you know? But I don't like when astrology, and believe it or not, if you don't know much about astrology actually has points where there is no answer, where there is like a random, who knows what the hell's going to go on, you know? There is that kind of like, what card's going to pop out next, you don't know, you know? And there's a lot of that in our lives at this moment right now, and I think we all think we have our hand on the, or our finger on knowing what it is, or knowing what's going to happen in our lives, and then it's going to totally be something else or totally different. So I think there's a little bit of kind of crazy fear with that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, I think fear's been something that's been coming up for me the most this week. And usually I don't have fear on a birthday. I think that was the weirdest thing about this birthday for me, is how much fear I have in my life about just, is everything in my life going to work? Is my health okay? Is, like, I don't know, maybe some of you guys can share out there with me when you start hitting like the mid-30s, like maybe you just start freaking out. Like, am I going to make it to the next year? I don't know. You know, like, I had a lot of death anxiety when I woke up this morning of like, am I going to make it? Like, am I all right? Like, am I going to survive? You know? And I don't know. That's a weird way. It's kind of hard to be in a very big celebration mode when you're in that vibe, you know? Like, somebody told me stop smoking. So funny. You know? But, yeah, the eclipses and stuff, everything coming up. I mean, for those astro geeks out there, you know, like, if you're born within the next, you know, your birthday's within the next 2 weeks, holy moly. I mean, it's going to be a wild year for you, because this is in the eclipse zone, the most major part of it. Like, the eclipse we had on the 20 degrees Cancer, but on the 12th was, I mean, sure, it was intense, but it was nothing compared to what's coming up here. So I think there's some major, there's just a lot of fear that I'm personally going through, and I'm not afraid to share it. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I just kind of want to let people know that, like, you know, it's so funny on Facebook today, right? Like, you see somebody and it says their birthday, and then you're like, oh, happy birthday, hope everything's well, you know? But, like, people really don't know what you're going through, you know? And we all have this assumption, like, they must be celebrating, or they must be doing something, or they must be waking up, like, you know, it's like, I think we're, like, programmed like we were as children. Like, it's our birthday, so we're gonna go out and fucking go get pizza and go out to fucking, you know, do this or do that, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think we're all doing that all the time, you know? And, you know, when you have that kind of, like, you know, truth about whatever you're going through, like, I want to share a story about a birthday I had 6 years ago. And it's kind of weird because it's a little bit like now, but not really. But 6 years ago, which is 2012, so July 2012, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I was living in my buddy's kitchen in a 1-bedroom apartment. So I was, like, living where they put, like, you know, the dining table, right? And as an astrologer, the big thing that we look at on our birthdays is we go, oh, what's the solar return going to look like? Because whatever the planets are doing on the moment that you were born, astrologically, with the sun returning to its exact position, we go, holy moly, right? We go, that's it right there. Like, that's going to tell us how this next year is going to go. And you combine that with whatever's going on astrologically in your transits or your progressions or your solar arcs and everything. Everything's combined, right? You know, the beautiful thing about astrology and God and the universe is you'll notice a connection in everything. So for me in 2012, I start playing with my solar return chart. Like, I'm like, oh, if I'm in this city at this time, I'll either have Jupiter rising on the ascendant in the 1st, or I'll have Jupiter rising like in the 12th, you know? And I'm like, what do I really want in my life? And it was literally like a 5-minute drive away. It was like that close. And I remember, you know, contemplating, and I spent my whole birthday, that was what I did. I was broke, I was basically homeless, and I was just starting this business 6 years ago, so I was just doing readings and saving my money to get out of living on my buddy's floor, you know what I mean? And so I was like, all right, like, my birthday this year is the gratitude that I have this job that's going somewhere, that of being an astrologer, to be able to go get a room to rent one day, you know? But the main thing I was doing is like plotting my birthday of where am I going to be astrologically in my life? Like, is it going to change my life? Is it going to be better that way? Long story short, I remember, and I'll never forget it, I felt so guilty too. I remember telling God, like, hey, I want it in the 1st house. Fuck this 12th house bullshit. I was like, I want Jupiter in the place that's going to give me rewards for my ego and my personality and what I want in my life, because I'm sick of not getting what I want. And it was funny because I did drive. I was living in Lake Forest at the time. It was like Lake Forest, Mission Viejo border. So I had to drive to Irvine, which isn't that far of a drive, but I had to take the freeway. And I literally timed it perfect. So I like got on the freeway, and I remember I was a little early. And then I'm like, oh, wait, like I need to be at this longitude and latitude. And I used like a GPS longitude and latitude for the exact spot that I wanted the planets to be on my birthday. So I had to like a U-turn, get off the exit and get around. And then I'm like driving really slow, and I'll never forget, like the minute it hits, I'm like, yes, all right, it's there. And then I said, sorry, God, that I want my ego, whatever it wants, more than what the angels want. Sorry, God, like I hope that you'll, you know, give me what I want, you know, basically, long story short. And it was Jupiter, back in 2012, Jupiter had just entered into, I think it was Gemini. It just had come into Gemini, and I was a Gemini rising, and the sun was up. Yeah, it was like, it was crazy. It was actually, it was a Gemini rising. It was a Gemini Jupiter, and it was the sun in Leo at the bottom of the chart. Yes, it was in the 3rd. Yeah, so anyway, I know I'm getting all astrological on people, but that year was one of the best and worst years of my life. The one thing it did create was the Leo King, which you know now. So Jupiter in the 1st gave me the Leo King and helped me understand the Leo King and build it and made it. Like within a matter of a month of that moment, I got a room for rent, met one of these old buddies I knew from the DJ scene, and we moved in together, and we lived together for like a year. And then I built the Leo King that year. But the negative of that was like it uncovered all of my anxiety and panic disorder situations really bad. Like I've been very frank and open about this subject for a lot, about that I suffer through anxiety and panic disorder, and I didn't even know it until 2012, you know? But I go back into my life and I realize that I've always been very anxiety ridden. But it got to the point to where I started having my panic attacks and stuff. And so Jupiter in the 1st definitely was the confidence to face the truth, but also like have to go through a lot of hard lessons in Gemini about my brain and my thoughts. It was pretty gnarly. But going to this birthday, you know, it's like I didn't try to plan where the planets were going to be. I'm like, I'm just wherever I'm at the time. And then I did Newport Beach and Huntington Beach, because that's where I live in Newport. Right now I'm still at my studios here in Huntington. And it didn't change anything. So I just lived my life and was driving when it all happened. And this year, when I look at my chart, it's like, out of all the charts I've ever done in my life for my solar return, I'm probably the most scared of this one. I'll be honest with you all. So I think, you know, and I know that a lot of people who might not follow astrology, or, you know, think astrology's hocus pocus, or think that I'm the devil, or I'm worshiping the devil because I do it. I don't care what you think, including my family, who probably think I'm crazy. And I'm not talking about direct, but I probably have family out there who think I'm crazy because I do this shit. But, like, sure, I don't let astrology dictate my life, but I also do let astrology kind of show me what the hell's coming up, you know? And I'm not also a denier to the truth of the predetermined aspects that's coming up. Actually, my chart, I think, is underneath. If you're watching this on Facebook, I posted it, my solar return chart, like today. And it's on my Instagram. And so, you know, I run my solar return every year, and I run my lunar returns every month. A lot of people probably don't know that about me, but I run it every month. So if you don't know what that is, all you do is you switch. So every month you have a birthday with your moon, because the moon takes, 29 days to come around. So every month, right, bam, the moon comes right back to the position it was when you were born. And so at that exact moment, you take a snapshot, and that's how you tell your month horoscope for yourself and what you're going to go through. Of course, you have to use a lot of other methods, but that's a huge indicator of your month. So I do lunar returns every month. I do my solar returns every year. You can do also like your Mars return, how, and especially whatever Mars rules, right? So whenever Mars returns, you can snapshot that, bam, and you can do a Mars return chart about how your strength and your activation. You can use it for health, because every planet is ruled by certain body parts and stuff, so you can see how your Venus return might be and run the chart for that, and how's that going to affect your kidneys, and how's that going to affect certain things. There's a lot. Astrology can go on for freaking days, hours, weeks, years. You could just be, you could find out all these crazy things about your life. But what scares me, I think, about this one the most is there was really no positive aspects in the universe. It was really sad. I was like, man, this whole entire chart is literally strung by non-stop, just chaotic stuff. I was like, there was not one thing in the chart that was positive. Literally, I was like, wow, really? The whole entire chart on my birthday is just completely fucked. I was like, this is just wonderful. And so, I think I put up I'm holding on for the ride, but somebody had wrote me oh, maybe you're learning to let go. And I thought that was a really good way of looking at it. Oh, sorry about that. So I thought that was a really good way of looking at it, but I think I'm just nervous because of how much intensity there is, because it's a very intense chart and there's a lot of pressure, and that usually means that you're being crystallized into a higher realm, but it's definitely not going to feel very positive or easy. When you have a lot of positive aspects, it's a pretty easy way to get where you're going next. But the problem usually when it's really easy in your solar return chart, or when the planets are in a very easy place on your birthday, of especially, the year that whatever age you're turning, there's this aspect to where it's maybe things really don't go anywhere. They just kind of smooth sail and you don't really rise to another level in your life. So there's kind of a couple ways to look at it. It's okay, one, all right, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, so I get that, but that's probably meaning that I'm going to go through a massive, intense year that is going to shift my life probably forever in a very intense way. And I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous when the universe is going to step in and take me to another level. I'll be honest with you. I had a great run. The last 3 years of my life, since my birthday 3 years ago, I don't want to say it's been perfect smooth sailing, but it has been fucking bomb. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. The last 3 years of my life, I look at it like this. I feel luckier than most people on the planet. I'll be very honest with you. I've literally manifested, experienced everything that most people dream of. I got it all. You know what I mean? I was I got it all. So it scares me when the universe kind of throws this in and goes, okay, yeah, whatever's the next level, and I'm oh, really? It's kind of nice coasting at this place, but at the same time, I'm also kind of over where this is at. I'm ready to go to the next round. So I think there's a lot of fear around what that looks like, and I think there's a lot of ego shit that I have to battle this year about getting out of my own ego's way of how I want it to go. I have to battle my ego a lot. I'm a fucking Leo, I got a lot of Leo. A Leo rising, too. And I got Mars and Scorpio. And, like, I'll be real. I'm like your typical, like, gnarly, egotistical dude who's battling his ego and being a spiritual, you know, practitioner by learning to let go of his ego a lot. Like, that's just the truth. Like, I'm not going to bullshit you. Like, I battle my ego probably more than a lot of people, you know? It's not fun, you know, especially before I even became consciously awake. And I let my ego turn on. My ego was a fucking gnarly motherfucker, you know. I got kicked out of the military for doing drugs. I mean, some of you guys know the story, but, like, I just let my ego fucking off the handle, whatever. And, I don't think, and I was washing my car today, and I was thinking, car wash thoughts. I was thinking, holy cow, like, the work never really ends. No spiritual practitioner, right, ever gets to full illumination or enlightenment this life. Like, it's a constant evolution and growing process in our lives. And I think, like, you know, we can get comfortable when we finally evolve in a really positive way. And we're like, yes, we evolved, all right. And then we get comfortable in that new evolution. And then the universe goes, all right, no, time to move it to another level. You know, it's like, and maybe there's some people in their charts, because this is the problem, I think, with, like, the world today, is why we don't all understand each other, is because we all expect each other to be the same. So it's kind of like, well, you know, I've been able to live my life with my job and my house for this many years with no problems. And you must be doing something wrong, you know? It's like, well, maybe when you look at that person's chart, they have, like, grand trines and sextiles everywhere, and they don't fucking got no crazy energy going on. So it's like, of course, this life is to feel just this, like, little like, not little, but just, you know, pretty normal, like, sheep, right? Like, life, okay? And so it's somehow those people, too, I've noticed in the world, when I run charts on, like, certain souls that, like, kind of just get a real fucking easy wave this life, when I run it, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, there's this thing out there in the world that life is just perfect and it should just roll smooth all the time, and that you are a bad person or you don't know what's going on because you're not living your life as smooth as me or other people or all this shit. Like, what? Like, that's the thing that gets me the most about all this, is, like, not everybody's the same, you know? Like, you know, we can kind of get caught up in, like, this whole kind of Betty Crocker way of, like, living life, of, like, oh yeah, like, this is the way that you have to live, and this is the way that it has to be, and if it's any other way, then there's a problem. And, well, I'm sorry, this life is not one size fits all. You know what I mean? Like I got a great gift for my birthday from Craig. I got a new angel hat, Angel's baby. And it's a snapback, you know, so it's not a flex fit, which means it's adjustable for however the size your head is, you know? So thank you, Craig, this was a great birthday gift I got. Angels all the way. But the problem with people in life today is they think it's one size fits all. Like, everybody should be living this way, and everybody should be living that way, and everybody should be fit into this box of how to experience life. And if you can't handle it a certain way, then you're a bad person, or you just don't get it, or I'm better than you, or blah, 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 blah. I think that's what, like, kind of upsets me a lot about the spiritual community. And actually, it's even more than the spiritual community. I think it's just, like, all people at large. Like, when you start expecting people to live a certain way, or you expect them to live the way you're living, and you somehow have found that, like, way. Like, who knows what the way is? Nobody knows what the way is. Like, some people follow a book, and they think that's the way to live. And some people follow the stars, and they think that's the way to live. Some people follow I was about to say some crazy shit, but we'll keep it PG-13 today. Some people follow whatever, right? And who knows what's the best way? But when you see crazy shit go down on your birthday and you do the astrology on your birthday and whatever's going on, that energy goes through the whole year, okay? And so, you know, I'm sure you all feel it inside that there's some massive stuff going on, which is, there's a good part of it, like, yeah, this is massive change. The negative is this kind of uneasiness about it all. And there is a lot of fear in the universe because there is this kind of massive, like, holy shit, I've really seen my issues. I've seen all the stuff. Oh, good. Good thing. Christiane, good news to hear about Matt. Sorry, some fan biz while I'm doing my live stream. But yeah, there's some things in life that are like, oh my God, like, sorry, you know, like, might be this really positive energy and it might be really extreme, but guess what? At the same time, in order to get to that, there's the extreme fear. There's the fear of the transformation. There's the holy moly kind of like, am I going to be able to do this? The universe is throwing a lot on all of our plates, whether that's physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I mean, everybody is just squeezed right now. This is eclipse time with the sun in its home sign of Leo, so it's a lot, you know. When there's this much going on, it's like, holy cow, a lot. And I think the number one thing to do is not flip out, including myself. I'm the first one to admit that I have been flipping the fuck out lately. I'm flipping out, you know? I'm flipping out. Like, I'm flipping out about, like, am I going to survive? Am I going to make it? Is my life going to be okay? Like, all this kind of stuff. It's, like, crazy. And it just is, like, learning to, like, no, we're not pregnant. Everybody's going, are you guys pregnant? No. People have been trying to predict that one, but, like, no, we're not pregnant. Like, are we pregnant? No. No. Sorry.
There's a bunch of ants on me.
There's a bunch of ants on you? Where?
She doesn't see me, like, get up. All the ones that were right here, I was, like, leaning on this, and then they crawled through here, and then they're all,
yeah, Leanna's got a bunch of ants on her, because
they're gone.
I have a big ant problem, because it's hot, you know, and in California, hot just attracts ants, and so I don't even keep trash in the building anywhere. And this is a 13,000 square foot building that I have, so it's like, pfft. There's no trash I can keep anywhere. I gotta literally dump it all every night, you know? Are you okay, though?
Yeah, I mean, I like, shook my coat off and took off my shirt.
But, no, we're not pregnant.
Well, why do they use the expression where?
Like, people said, like, are you guys pregnant? Like, it's an expression for, like, a couple, like, you gonna have a baby? Like, you guys preggo? I know, trust me. I shouldn't be flipping out. I shouldn't be flipping out about my astrology in my life when the truth is like, I never have to carry a freaking baby in my womb. I don't got no womb, so I don't gotta go through that. I don't gotta go through a period every month. Sure, I go through a man period every month where I freak out probably once a month. Like, yeah, like that's, I believe in that 100%. I believe there are man periods, 100%, you know? But like, and yeah, I mean, I'll play some music. I got my whole DJ thing. I'm also writing for Newsweek, this new thing, and I actually haven't shown anybody what I'm doing. Isn't it right here? Oh yeah, it is.
What's right there?
The Newsweek thing. All right, so let me unveil to you guys what I'm doing for Newsweek. So Newsweek is doing special editions now. So I don't know if you guys saw this one, maybe at your grocery store, your 7-Eleven. It's called like Spiritual Living, and then inside is just a bunch of people like talking about spirituality. Okay, all right, 100-page mag. Okay, then they did one on mindfulness. All right, so this one's like about your mind, right? Like, and how to do yoga and meditation and all that kind of cool stuff, right? So Newsweek's been doing these special editions. Well, when I was in New York in May, I signed a 2-year deal where I'm creating a 100-page, I'm writing the whole thing from front cover to front. The 2019 Forecast Ahead Astrology Newsweek Special Edition Leo King with my logo and all this shit on the front of the page. And so right now I'm writing that, and I have like a writing schedule. I have to have all 100 pages written by August 14th or something, right? Yeah, August 14th. Yeah. So in the background while doing all the videos and doing everything, I'm writing a 100-page magazine right now. And in the magazine in the back, so the last 50 pages are going to be the 12 sun signs, 4 pages a sign, right? So like, I'm going to go through your love, your health, blah, 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 relationships for each sign. It's going to be all color pages, really cool. So I'm actually excited about that part of the whole deal. And then the first 50 pages are going to be like overall, like what's going on in politics. I'm going to do 2 pages on Trump. I'm going to do love and money and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be pretty cool because like when you get the mag, you'll be like, oh yeah, what's going on this year for this and what's going on this year for that. And then you can look up your sun sign. And then like at the bottom of like your sun sign, it'll be like who you're compatible with and who you're not this year. Like stuff like that. So, this, like, I'll be honest, I'm just stressed. I got a lot on my plate and I'm trying to make it all work. And for you guys that didn't know, and I haven't put it out there publicly, but High Vibe TV app just came out. So you can download the app now and watch all my old episodes. And now we're getting all this new talent on. So you can check that out, High Vibe TV. Now that is not going to be a network with horoscopes. That's my network now about positivity and bringing people on that are inspirational speakers and talkers that deal with kind of outside the horoscope world. So they're not predictive, videos. They're much more about inspirational, manifesting, spiritual and stuff. And it's free right now. The app's free. So you can watch all the videos and people are going to be able to do that. And then we're going to have paid content that you can buy if you want to buy certain videos. And we're building the network before we do this go subscription and get a bunch of people on and, tell people about it. So that just launched. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but I just have to learn not to freak out through it all. I got a lot of great shit going on, but I think at the same time, I don't think people really realize like when you look at somebody's Facebook, and this is the whole point of this live, is like when you look at someone's Facebook, right? And it says it's their birthday, and so you write happy birthday, right? And I think it's a beautiful and a great thing, but like nobody really knows how that person's feeling. Like, I'll be honest, I woke up in a bad mood for my birthday. I left the house in a bad mood. I even was in a bad mood going to pick up my medication at the pharmacy today. I was in a bad mood going to work. I was in a bad mood after I ate. And then I shifted my mood after I ate a little bit. And then I saw Craig, who's, Craig Skidmore's main guy here. He runs all the businesses here for me, my operations manager. And I'm like, hey man, like it was good to see him. And, my mood changed and I feel better now, but man, I think I really, and I talked to Christopher Witecki today. Some of you guys might know, he's an awesome astrologist. Check him out online, but he's my best friend astrologer I turn to when I am going through stuff. He actually called me for my birthday, but so I got grounded through that. But like, I've had bad mood birthdays, and I just wanted to share that they happen, and I think we all learn from them all, and Leos, we love our birthday, and I think it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, hey, I really don't care this year. I really don't. I'm like more about just trying to get through today. I feel my mom's in here. I feel so bad for my mom. My mom, not only did she have me 34 years ago and I didn't want to come out, I was cesarean and I was 10 pounds. And she had me for like an extra month. So I was 10 months, I think. Right, Mom? I think, right? I was also a rainbow baby, if you guys don't know what that is. So, like, my mom had a tubal pregnancy before I was born in April of '83. and then she got pregnant with me 6 months later, in September-ish, you know, and then had me in July of 84. But a rainbow baby is if you come into the womb of your mother during the time in which another baby was lost before you that should have been in the womb during that time. So there was a soul that was in my mom's womb who actually never really made it there because my mom had a tubal pregnancy. So the egg, when it dropped down the fallopian tube, grew inside my mom's fallopian tube. And my mom had to have like emergency surgery to pull the tube out with the baby growing. It was probably a very traumatic experience. So there was only one tube for me to come down, you know, there wasn't two. I only had one, you know. But this goes back to my mom, and I'm just telling you the story because my mom went through a lot to have me. She went through that experience and then got pregnant with me, and I'm sure she was totally freaked out. I don't know, I really don't talk to her about this, but I'm sure she was probably really freaked out, right? Like about, like, is everything gonna go okay with me, you know? And I feel like I kind of have that in me. Like, is everything gonna be okay all the time? Am I gonna be all right? Like, some crazy thing gonna go down? But she had me, and my mom today was the most uplifting person, besides my wife too. My wife was trying to uplift me very high today. My mom was so loving and so positive and trying to cheer me up and called me this morning. It was so chippery. And then she actually stopped here at my office and tried to do it. I was just not in a good mood. So I feel so bad because my mom was trying to uplift me for my birthday today and I was just not having it. I was just like, no, I had all these excuses. I'm like, Mom, you don't get it. You didn't see the astrology. You don't get it. They changed my, you know, I'm going through some shit in my life, you know, just with random shit. So I was like trying to totally give my mom every fucking reason why I'm allowed to not feel good on my birthday, you know. And so I do have the Best Mom Award because my mom loved me and sent me positive energy and made sure I was on the right track. And my mom puts me on track in a very good way. Like, my mom's not like a demanding kind of person, right? Like, she is a very soft and beautiful and angelic presence. So she doesn't force you into anything. But she does know how to say what she needs to say in a beautiful way and make you kind of feel like, yeah, I'm totally on the wrong track, you know? Like, without, like, being like passive aggressive or anything like that, like completely from soul and heart space, you know. So I'm lucky for my mom for that because you know, today I'll be real. Not only am I just afraid of this year, I'm afraid of just a lot of things in life. And my mom pulled me out, and so did my wife, and it was nice. My dad called me today, and I spoke with one of my grandmothers. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think we get too caught up about birthdays, and like, I think it's good if you're gonna celebrate your birthday, go all the way. I ain't gonna judge you, and I'm the kind of person who does that. But also, if you don't celebrate your birthday, don't feel bad about it either. Like, I didn't celebrate mine this year, and I didn't plan it, and my wife did, and I showed up, and I felt bad because I was even at a bad mood at my birthday on Saturday. It sucked. Like, I was not in a good mood. So, you know, and I think, you know, sometimes we feel, you know, I feel bad because I feel like it's like a responsibility when people take you out for your birthday to, like, be happy about your birthday. But, like, this year I just wasn't at all. And then my wife was like, oh, I need to go do something to get you some surprise something. And I'm like, no, just don't go do it. I won't even, you know, about the balloons, you know.
No, I couldn't go anyway because it was closed. And
I know, it was
mad
closed,
about
and she was mad.
It was
But I told her, I'm
PM.
like, I'm glad that you're not getting them because I probably wouldn't have accepted them in the normal way that I normally would.
Well, you wouldn't have had to accept them. They would have just been all over our house, and they would have you would have had a frown on your face with a bunch of happiness around you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I want to say thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday on my Facebook and my phone. And if I didn't get back to you, I'm sorry. I want to go through all those Facebooks and write to you back. You need a cigarette and a nice cup of green tea. Maybe I need the cigarette. I don't know about the green tea. But
I'll take the green tea.
the smoking's not the best thing for me either, especially being a jet ski racer. You know, I was at the races last weekend and I like get off the ski, you know. I just like gave it my all and fucking there I am lighting up a cigarette going, you know, like, oh man, like, you know, you can feel it in your lungs, you know. But who knows? No smoking. Smoking is just, you know, I've battled a lot of things in my life. I've battled all drugs, you know. Some people tell me not to talk about this stuff, but I don't care. Like, I've done every drug, you know what I mean? Except heroin. I never got into heroin. I did smoke an oxy once when I was like 23, but I was like, this just does not feel right. I knew right away. My guides were like, don't go down that road. You know? I have extreme ADHD, by the way, as people probably know. So, of course, I was more attracted to stimulants. Like, for me, it was always cocaine or it was ecstasy. And then I found methamphetamine, and that was wonderful. And then, you know, it kind of ruined my life. I was actually lucky because, like, nothing really bad happened to me, but, like, I got close, you know, and then, like, realized, yeah, maybe I shouldn't go down that road anymore, you know, and pulled out of that. But the one vice for me that I have the most problem with is cigarettes. Like, I can stop doing drugs. Like, acid, of course, is one of the coolest drugs in the world. I'm not here to advocate drug use right now, and I'm live, and I don't know who's watching, but, like, yeah. Acid was, like, some of the best times of my whole life. I've never fucking... That's how I became an astrologer. That's how all my astronomy and all my astrology connected. Like, that, I mean, looking at the clouds, watching the sunrise, watching the planets, watching the universe on acid was definitely one of the best things that I ever did in my whole life. But I don't do that shit now. I couldn't, if you were to give me acid right now, I would probably fucking not have fun because I would be overly... The world is so psychedelic right now. I was just telling Mr. Christopher Witecki today. I don't know how anybody could be doing a psychedelic right now, period, when the universe is more psychedelic than ever right now. It is so crazy and so weird. Like, it's like being on an acid trip, just being alive right now. Like, I couldn't imagine being on a fucking psychedelic right now. Like, or even for me, because I don't smoke weed anymore, I couldn't even imagine smoking weed right now. That would just blow my mind because it's so psychedelic right now. I would just be like, holy shit. Because I'm tapping into all that vibe all the time. Like, whoa. But the one vice I have is cigarettes. Now, I quit for the last 5 years, and then, I don't know. I mean, I'll be blunt, and my wife doesn't care because she was with me. We were at a strip club, and there was a cigarette machine there, and that's all she wrote. You know what I mean? And in Vegas, too. Because the thing about Vegas, you know, is like, oh, yeah, let's go play some blackjack. Let's go play some poker. Let's go. And actually, I taught my wife how to play roulette, and she loves it, and I love roulette. I'm a roulette player all the time. Like, you'll see me at the roulette table. That's where I'm at. If I'm in Vegas, you know,
anything that uses psychic abilities.
Yeah, anything that uses psychic abilities. Yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, predicting white or black or red, or ooh, I'm going to put it on green, 00, or I'm going to put it on fucking, you know, odd or even, or I'm going to put it on the first, you know, the first fucking third of numbers, or ooh, I'm going to put it on these numbers, or, you know, like, I don't know. So I like all that stuff, but, like, any drug, like, in the world, like, you could just tell me you can't take it no more. Okay. Stopped weed in one day, cold turkey. Stopped ecstasy in one day. Well, ecstasy is not addictive. Ecstasy is something that I never did every day. And I never abused ecstasy more than one day ever. So, like, if I was never the kind of ecstasy person who did it for, like, 3 days straight or something like that. Like, no. When it came to ecstasy, I did it for the rave, and it had to have music. That was a rule I had. And my wife's here, but she's cool. Or there better be some girls there. You know what I mean? Like, hot ones or something. That was the only time I did. I'm talking about when I did ecstasy back in the day. Like, I had rules. Like, I didn't abuse it. I was like, oh, there's a show, there's DJs, there's music, so I'm gonna take ecstasy. Or my other rule was there better be some fucking hot chicks here, or it's not worth doing it. You know what I mean? Like, why just take ecstasy with your homeboys, you know, and just talk and smoke cigarettes or something?
Yeah, that's true. That'd be kind of funny.
Like, what a waste of your serotonin in your brain, you know what I mean? Like just sitting around with a bunch of cock, you know what I mean? Like, for me, it was like, oh, there better be the most beautiful women around, or some music and a live stage, and the DJ better be the bomb, or I won't take it.
Well, being around a bunch of cock sounds good to me.
Leanna said,
Leanna
said being around a bunch of cocks okay with me. And exactly. So if you were around a bunch of cock and you were a chick and you had some ecstasy, that would be a good connector. You know, it'd be like, okay, that's worth it. Bam. You know, like, or like same thing with acid. Like, I just didn't do acid except once in my life that didn't have some sort of meaning behind it. Like, one time I got really drunk at a bar, and I'll never forget this. And my buddy was like, hey, our homeboy has that. We used to get our acid from, I probably shouldn't say all this shit, but I can kind of give some things. I used to get my acid in Santa Cruz, California, where the real deal is. The Bay Area is where the real acid comes from. The chemist was from the 60s and used to do all of it from the 60s. And we used to get it in vials, liquid, that was used to put on paper, to put on actual, like, blotter, you know, like, and we didn't put it on paper. We took this shit in our mouth and dropped it in our mouth. So, like, my buddy and I were like, oh shit, our homeboy's got some in his fridge. And it was like 2:30 in the morning. And we went to his house, and now it's 3, and we dropped acid at like 3 in the morning. And it was like, oh my God, like, it was so strong. Like, this shit was like one drop, a fat drop too, but like one drop would just wreck you for 12 hours. Like, you are... And actually, that was the time I figured out I was going to be an astrologer, ironically enough. But, yeah, I can't do that shit no more. But anytime I did drugs like that, whether it was ecstasy or acid or mushrooms, and especially mushrooms, I think that's the one you got to be the most careful with, because those will tip the scale so quick on you if you take too much. You know, you could go from like, this is extremely fun and I'm laughing and the trees are moving and everything, you know, to, oh my God, I'm seeing aliens. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, people are turning into cartoons. Like, literally. Like, literally. And if you've never done shrooms, that shit actually does happen. Like, shrooms are way more what you think of psychedelic. Like, whoa, like, I'm seeing crazy visualization shit. Where acid is not that way. Sure, you might see rainbows, okay? And you might see, like I always called it, like, seeing life in HD. Like, if you remember, like, when HD TVs came out, like, when you saw an HD TV for your first time, you're like, oh my God, this is insane. That's kind of like the feeling of acid times 1,000, of how you see the world in HD. See the world in a higher spiritual place. It's a mental thing. Like, acid is all in your head, and it's a reconfiguration of your thought processes, and you're opening up parts of your brain you've never used before. So there's a higher subconscious frequency band that you tap into, but you don't actually see things. You use all your senses in a way you've never used before at once. It's like the 7th or an 8th sense I can't even describe. But so any of those drugs, I just never did it unless it had a meaning behind it. Like, there was a show we were going to, a rave, a festival. At the time, girls were around. But I would never do psychedelics around girls. Like, that's not a very sexy... Those two drugs are not very sexy. I'm sorry. You don't feel like... You don't get all horny on acid. Like, it's kind of crazy. If you're doing real acid, like, you are in another place for a long time, you know? And then when you deal with like cocaine or speed or crack or any of those, like, you usually are hanging around some weird people, and you're usually into some really weird situations. And so those ones, you know, you always are kind of like, okay, this is a little bit weird, you know? Like, maybe, like, anytime I did coke, it always ended up fucking weird situation with weird people in a weird place in a weird fucking corner of some apartment or some house or some place, you know? Like, you know, like Ken just said in here, like, set and setting is everything. And I'm not here trying to promote drugs, but, like, you know, like, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to do this stuff, especially right now because the universe is so psychedelic the way that it is and so crazy, like, for me, I don't need to do psychedelics right now. I'm like, the universe is psychedelic enough. My fucking computer screen right here is psychedelic enough, you know? But, yeah, gnarly stuff going on in the universe. But cigarettes, this is all trying to get back to cigarettes. My ADHD kicked in. That's the one thing, even though I quit for 5 years, man, it just takes a couple and I'm back on the train. And even quitting cigarettes for 5 years, I had no cravings. But if I saw somebody smoking, I'd be jealous. I'd be like, I wish I was that person. I would say that every time I saw somebody smoking a cigarette in their car, or anytime I went to because I'm a DJ and I'm at clubs all the time and I'm around cigarettes all the time. Like, I'm just like looking around going, I'm jealous of you motherfuckers all the time. Like, like, for the last 5 years that I was not smoking cigarettes, I literally said that every time, you know? And it didn't matter. Like, for me, I got off cigarettes using frozen melons from Trader Joe's. Like, that's how I got off cigarettes the first time. Was like, oh, yeah, fucking frozen mangoes. But
That sounds delicious.
it is delicious. But fucking, like, there's a part of me that wants to smoke cigarettes right now. That's why I'm smoking. Like, I want to. Like, it has nothing to do with whether it's good or it's bad for me. Like, it's like, I want to. It makes me happy. It deals with things. Leanna doesn't mind. Do you mind that I smoke?
I believe in letting people do people, and I will never control another person.
Well, because I'm asking you this because there was a comment on my YouTube, like, she probably won't kiss you because you smoke.
There's only one time that I've ever kissed you that you've tasted like smoke. It's kind of weird. It goes away really fast.
See, I've got the magical...
You have a magical mouth.
The magical mouth. Maybe it's because I drink a lot of Sprite and Powerade and water.
It's probably the Sprite and Powerade water.
But I want to smoke right now, so that's just where it's at. And then I'll probably get to a place, or something will happen, or who knows what. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm done. Just like 5 years ago when I just reached a place where I'm like, I'm done, you know. And I'm the same with Leanna. Like, if there's something in her life that she wants to do, whatever it may be, I'm gonna let her do that. I'm not gonna stop her. I don't know. Maybe that's why we're married and we made it through the first year, which they say is the hardest. Is learning how to truly accept somebody for who they are and be whatever that is, and not try and hold them back and
also love every aspect of them.
Yeah,
I think that's a very difficult thing for a lot of people, because they're always like, oh, well, I just wish he was like this, but maybe one day, or this is something that I don't like about him. It's like, well, you either love the person all the way or you don't.
It's true. You either love them all the way or you don't, whatever there is, you know? Like, Leanna has this, addiction to chips. You know? So she always tastes like fucking all-dressed Canadian Ruffles. Or she likes these Doritos that are... The vegan ones.
The non-cheese ones.
The sweet chili heat. Or she'll even just eat a whole bag of just, Lay's or Ruffles or whatever. Leanna is a potato chip fiend. But I love her for it, even though, I'm always every day, cleaning up bags of potato chips everywhere, or little crumbs of potato chips everywhere, or her whole mouth smells like potato. That ain't gonna stop me from making out with my wife, you know what I mean? And she's a potato head, you know? So, yeah, that's kind of the crazy aspect of it all, but, anyway, I think this live has gone far enough. Anyway, it was a fun birthday. We'll see how it all goes. Some crazy times right now. And I appreciate all your guys' support.
It was funny, the part when you were talking about like all the crazy shit that might pop up in the universe is right when the ants were crawling on me.
And there's a spider that just popped up right here.
Okay, see, that's a sign.
Like,
that's a sign. That was supposed to be mentioned.
There's a spider right there.
Because I thought it was so weird how you were talking about.
Can people see that? I don't know if they. I don't know if they get that spider that just popped up.
Oh.
Wait,
like,
hold on.
Daddy
There he
long
is.
legs.
Yeah, look at him.
At least it's just a daddy.
It's just a daddy long leg, but still, like, I very rarely have that. You know, and then some conspiracy theorists can be like, "Oh my God, you're surrounded by demons and dark energy right now." Ooh, you know. But that's why I have Leo King holy water. I'm not even joking. I bought this from the church. I fill it up with my own water. I bless it myself. And when things are going weird in my life, I literally, I don't know, I kind of use it like cologne, I'll be honest with you. Like, Leo King holy water is like, you just kind of like protect yourself and say like a little prayer with it. It works. So, but I'm not going to sell Leo King holy water ever, because I think that's just bullshit. Like, that'd be fucked up. So, never say never though, but really I just don't see no sense in it. So, alrighty, we are out. Long video, but we'll talk to you later. Peace. And get ready for the fucking craziness this week. Peace.